At home, President Cyril Ramaphosa is calling on businesses to do away with workplace experience as a requirement. However, beyond workplace experience, young people face various barriers to enter the labour market. Project lead at Youth Capital, Kristal Duncan-Williams, joins us now to discuss this topic a little further. Kristal, thank you very much for your time. The President saying this, of course, on Monday in his weekly report from the President's desk. Do you agree?
Yes, I think the removal of that first work experience is really important for young people. When we speak to young people at Youth Capital, this issue always comes up. Young people need work experience to get a job, but they need a job to get work experience. And so young people are constantly stuck in this conundrum. However, I think we need to be cautious to put all the pressure on businesses, as it's really complex why businesses can't provide this first work experience always, particularly for small and medium-sized businesses. We, through our research with them about a year ago now, they often speak of the challenges they face. They're not big corporates, they don't have big HR departments to manage this hiring process. And so in instances like that, things like public employment programs, which again are funded by the government, can really help to bridge this work experience gap. I think it really speaks to the complexity of the youth unemployment crisis and the need for a basket of solutions as opposed to, a magic answer or magic silver bullet that's going to fix it for us.
All right. So, but also it's always been a topic that needs buy-in from business, right? And I wonder why the pushback, maybe in your opinion, in terms of work experience, because for everybody, even the people who own business today, for everybody to have that experience, somebody must open the door.
Yes, absolutely. And, that's why the government has these many incentives. We have the employment tax incentive, where, again, government has said to businesses, we'll take on the cost of hiring the young person if you can just give them the work experience. But again, the experience and the implementation of that policy, when we speak to small businesses, only around 2 to 3 in 10 small businesses in our survey had made use of this incentive. So again, I think there needs to be, exactly as you say, more of a conversation with business to say, as government, we've set aside money for the employment tax incentive. We've put aside billions to fund public employment programs. How can we design these programs and incentives in a better way to bridge this gap, to support businesses to be able to provide that first work experience? As you say, when we spoke to small businesses, they want to give young people the opportunity. They want to give young people that first work experience and invest in young people. But sometimes as a small business in a struggling economy like South Africa, practically it can be a little bit difficult for them to do that.
Well, definitely those tax incentives will come in handy, especially when it comes to the training. We all know, like you said, small business having no money and having to use your time and resources you don't have to train a new person can also take its toll on business. But besides work experience, what are some of the other challenges that young people face in accessing the labour market?
One is obviously just completed a survey on that route, where we speak about how high the cost of transport is, that young people simply cannot afford to look for work. And so what happens is young people just give up for periods of time. They say that young people are discouraged, but it's not that they've given up. It's that they are financially unable to continue to look for work. When you can spend up to 1,000 Rand a month on taxi fare and internet to be able to find work. So this is another huge barrier that young people face. Also, social connections. Young people don't know who to ask so that they can find where the jobs are. They don't know who to speak to so that they can be well equipped to make a good choice about their careers, finding information and resources, asking for, help with being able to fund taxi fares to get to work, or having the right clothes to shop for job interviews. These are all things that many young South Africans don't have. And a lot of it can be solved through increased social connectedness. So we at Youth Capital are always highlighting these issues. And it's why we believe so vehemently in public employment programs, because things like the Basic Education Employment Initiative provide first work experience, they provide social connections for young people, and they reduce the cost of looking for work because young people are placed in schools close to where they live. And so this is why we continue to petition and advocate for the funding of public employment programs to be continued.
All right. So how else could, South Africa connect young people with structured work experience, especially those, for instance, who've come out of matric now and, they don't know what to study. Maybe they want to take a gap year and work in the meantime. What can we do to assist them?
So I think that, again, small businesses should look into these incentives, should try to access them where possible to reduce that burden. I think for bigger corporates, where they have the ability to take young people on, even if it's for a short time, 6 months. I mean, ideally a year. Research shows that a year of work experience is the most impactful. But even if you can provide 6 months of work experience, as a small business, maybe you have a young person who wants to start their own business but doesn't have any work experience. What better way to learn about that than to learn from another small business owner? And so I think if you are in a position as a business owner to take on young people, then one, you need to advertise widely, because young people often aren't in the places where you're putting up an ad, in a mall or whatever it is. And so, you really need to cast your net wide to try to find that young person and realize that it's an investment. I think many business owners are maybe nervous to take a chance on young people, but, if you have the right processes in place, if you have a good probation system in place, then, from our conversations with small business owners, they speak about the innovation that you can really unlock through having a young person in your team. And I think we mustn't lose sight of the potential of young people that is being lost if we don't give them that first work experience.
All right, Kristal, thank you very much for your time. Kristal Duncan-Williams, a project lead at Youth Capital.